Okay, everybody, before we start this episode, during our Christmas episode, I said I was going to give away 6 bales of adhesive to two winners. There were companies that tagged us, did a social media video on our adhesive and tagged us, and that I was going to give away 6 bales of adhesive to 2 winners. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to do 3 winners. We couldn't decide who the winner should be. There were some pretty close. So I'm going to announce the winners now. So here they are in no particular order. Number 1, Warwick Floors, Pedro Carrera. Thank you very much. Great video, and thanks for tagging us. Appreciate that. So you're going to send 6 bales to you. The next winner, Cesar at Cardona Flooring. Thanks again. A great video for you too, and I appreciate it. And we're going to send you six bales. So the last winner, like I said, we're going to do a bonus winner, and that will be Lenny Hall at Endurance Flooring down there in Florida. So thanks again, guys, for everybody that sent them in. That was the 3. If anybody didn't get chosen, then that's Eileen's fault. We'll blame her. Thank you very much. So now we're going to do, like I said, a 2-part series on continuing education. Here we go. Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, Director of Sales for Bona Adhesives, and you are?
I am Rob Johnson from the Bona Training.
How we doing, Rob?
Happy New Year, buddy.
Yes, sir. Right back at you. We're a couple of weeks into it now. So, yep, off and here we go. Another year, 2024.
This is the first one, right? This is the first taping of the year, right? Yeah.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. What you got on your mind, buddy? You look good there, by the way.
I feel good, finally.
You know, you're always you're dressed appropriate. You know, with your gear on. You know, I've always said
training with it. I got the training under.
Yeah.
See, see all sorts of the training hat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just in case you ever forget what you're doing in life.
I might get a tattoo right here.
You might as well. You got it everywhere else.
I don't have any tattoos. That would be pretty funny if I had the tattoo under the.
Yeah.
What are these called again?
Jackets.
You know, something like that. Yeah.
You know, I don't ever really trust a guy who's too impeccably dressed all the time. You know what I mean?
Really?
I mean, you know, that's every day is dressed immaculately. You know, there's times in life you need to dress like that, you know, weddings and funerals and such, but the guy dresses like that every day. It's just a little suspect. You know what I mean?
No matter what the job.
No matter what the job.
Dressing down. Sometimes.
Yeah, you don't have to dress up like a rock star every day, all the time. Perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect.
But I like how you're complimenting my my clothes today. That's nice. I'm wearing a Hanes hoodie and a Dickies work shirt. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, the tuxedo of the working man.
Absolutely. Oh, they make winter clothes so much better than they ever have. Man, back in the 70s, I used to live in Michigan, and you wore parkas, and you never saw your neighbors for 6 months. I mean, you had that big fur thing around your, the hood, fur, and the thing weighed about 60 pounds.
Yeah, I think they called them snorkel jackets. That was a big thing when I was in high school. Everybody had a snorkel jacket.
Now
not me. I wore my Letterman's jacket.
Yeah, there you go. What for
hoodie,
what?
With a hoodie underneath.
Letterman for what?
Oh, that was amazing. Shot put, discus.
No kidding. Okay. Well, you never told me that.
Really?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's tough.
I was really, our high school didn't have a hockey team. So we played, a bunch of the guys that I went to school with, and, we all played hockey, but it was more of like a club thing. We had a club and we played other clubs and stuff, but couldn't get a letter for that. That would have been cool. So me and a couple guys that were on the hockey team, we also joined the track team. We used to joke, we're really not track and field people. We're just hockey players trying to stay in shape.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you threw the shot put. Yeah.
Shot put and discus. Yeah. Indoor track. Um, Indoor track was funny because you couldn't really do discus, you know, and you'd go and you do tournaments and stuff inside. And
Hmm.
we went to this one tournament, and there was no place to throw the shot put. So, now you got like 50 shot putters from, a bunch of different schools. So there's like 50 of us total.
Hmm.
And all the coaches are like, well, there's no place to throw the shot put. What are we going to do with the shot putters? So they said, how about if we have them run a relay race? There's a track here. Now, all shot putters, not a lot of little guys throwing the shot put. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right. Yeah.
You can imagine. So they had us run a relay race with the baton and everything,
Hmm.
which ended up, it's too bad that people didn't have videos and everything back then because it would have been hysterical, especially the 30 seconds of coaching we got on how to pass the baton. There's a whole
Yeah,
thing of, you run and a guy puts it in your hand. And
yeah,
really, the whole entire race, all you heard was the banging, those steel batons.
yeah. Hitting the floor.
You drop them, right, hitting the floor, they make an unbelievable noise. Well, that's all you heard. And the whole place was just in hysterics, cracking up because,
Wow.
yeah, when you drop these things, like when I dropped mine, I thought I was motoring too. I mean,
Hmm.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this serious. I'm gonna turn the jets on and fly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen that. But
Hmm.
the when I dropped my baton, I had kicked it. Now I'm chasing it like, way
Oh,
off of the track, but that's okay because two other guys were like doing the same thing.
oh
So
my God.
it was a fun day.
Yeah. Appreciate you
Fun
sharing
day.
that. Appreciate you sharing that story.
I don't know why. I have no
Mhm.
idea where that came from. I don't even know
Yeah.
what started it, but
We'll cut it out. Anyhow, so what did you have in mind for the episode today?
well, what are we going into our 6th year of doing the show
Yep,
now?
yep.
Yeah, this is our 6th year of doing the show. So I think this year we got to try some new stuff. So this is going to be part one of the first On the Floor mini-series. And because it was my idea, we're going to stay with stuff that I know about a little bit, or I think I do.
Hmm.
The value of education.
Okay.
Okay. The value of education. And I know we talk about education all the time, probably because that's what I do. But today's part one of our mini series, Value of Education, today we're going to talk about hands on training.
Hmm. This part three mini series that you just came up with, when was I informed of this? How long
Um,
ago?
well, I sent you the email, but you didn't read it. So
You,
probably 5 minutes ago.
you sent me the email how long ago?
No, I think I talked to you about it this morning.
Yeah. Um, no, I think about an hour ago you mentioned the miniseries aspect of this thing.
Oh,
I think yeah, this morning you said I'm able to do something on education, but okay, I'm down with it. We'll allow this as the judge says.
you know, I want to be like Hooper in Jaws when he screams at the chief. You got any better suggestions?
Yeah. Oh no, no, I'm with it. I'm excited about this.
Especially with Bona. I mean, between the Bona training and all our RTCs and Shooty's e-learning programs. I mean, we got a lot going on with education. So I think we could break it down and take a little time on all the importance of it. And I don't know if we can get maybe a third one. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I think for now we have two on the books and we'll figure out a third.
So when you talk about education, some of the wisest people on planet Earth are farmers. Okay? So you give me something on your education and I'll give you something on farmer education, okay?
Okay.
All right, there we go. That way we'll kind of because I really truly believe. I told you one of my best friend, he passed away a couple years ago now, and this guy, and I've said it before, but it's such a great story to me. The guy lived in East Tennessee his whole life. He was a farmer his whole life. He'd never really been outside East Tennessee very much, and one day he was telling me, hey, I should do this, and Wayne, you should do that, and Wayne, you work too much, you should take more time off. And while he was in this, he stopped himself and he said, well, I reckon I shouldn't put my hay in your wagon. And I thought, I'll be damned, that's one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
Oh, I like that.
That's a great saying, isn't it?
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I knew exactly what he was getting at. And I thought that is pretty damn cool. So farmer wisdom is some of the smartest. God bless farmers in this country, man. They're hardworking people. And so I'll give you farmer education while you give me some education too. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Now, wait a minute. I want to go back to something. You had talked about a snorkel jacket. Did you get any snow this weekend?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Zero.
We got a little bit. We got about 8 inches. But Pauline for Christmas gave me a true game changer. She gave me electric winter gloves.
Yeah.
My hands are always cold, like ice cold. When I would go out and do snow blowing and shoveling and all that, brutal. I constantly was changing gloves. Went out there, I was out for about 3 hours taking care of everything. My hands were sweating, these new gloves. So you might be joking, everybody. You might be laughing at it and anything, but if you got cold hands or you're out, I'm telling you, they've probably been around for, you know how I am. They've probably been around for 20 years. And I finally got a pair.
What is the brand name? And are they big and bulky?
They're winter gloves. They're a good size winter glove, but they come down to about here. You know what I mean? They go well past your wrist. They're so like a big ski glove, All
right. So I can't use them fishing. But I would like to get some for my wife, actually.
All right.
So tell me the brand.
I got they're called heated gloves.
You got a flashlight?
Yeah. Here, look. They're called heated gloves.
Maybe they're called heated gloves.
Box.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe this is heated gloves. See it?
All right.
Orange and black box. Come in a really nice box.
Okay. I got it. Thank you.
She'll love you for that.
Yeah.
And you're not a gift buying guy.
No, but see, something practical like that makes sense, I would absolutely buy.
Okay.
Yeah, because her hands get cold, so that's a good one.
That's it.
Yep. She doesn't know about that, so I do. All right.
Now you're going to give her a nice gift, and she's not going to know what to do. Not you're going to get her a gift.
Exactly.
Tell her it's from me.
I will.
Maybe I'll send her the gloves first.
It'd be a good move. All right. How about we get on with this, Rob?
Let's get going here. Part 1 of our mini-series, The Value of Education. Part 1, hands-on training. Now I'm going to give you one, and then you're going to give me okay. ROI.
Okay.
ROI, return on investment. Are you coming back with a farmer thing, or?
Yeah, but okay. I thought you were going to expound on that a little bit.
I thought you would want to.
Well, how would I want to expound on that when you just told it to me? It's your thing.
Because you're the expounder on the show.
Oh my God.
You love talking. You
Oh,
can see how the show prep went really good. All right. I'll expand on it a little bit. Whatever it costs you in time and money to attend a training, almost every single person I've talked to about it after they've gone said that it was worth 10 times what they spent on their return, on their end. Whether it was learning something new, learning something that they weren't doing correctly, or new products or new systems, especially with everything changing the way things are changing, and The return on investment is huge. Every single person I've ever talked to who's attended a training. Okay.
Yeah, I'm fighting a cold. Well, yeah, well, that's great. You just, I would have just continued that ROI. That would have continued with that, and not wait for me to say it. It was your idea. Anyhow, no big deal. All right, I'm going to give you some farmer education. Life is simpler when you plow around the stump. Okay.
Life is simpler.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to take action, confront problems or obstacles head on. But sometimes it's wiser and more efficient and less stressful to just find a way around them.
And how does that go with ROI?
It's got nothing to do with ROI. How did I know about ROI until 2 minutes ago? I'm giving you.
It's written. I sent you the email.
Oh my God.
All right,
I'm
let's
not
just
saying-
try to. You know what?
not-
By the end of the show, we'll have figured this out.
I'm not trying to say mine has anything to do with yours.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
what I thought. I thought I was gonna give a bullet, and then you were gonna compare that bullet to a farmer quote.
No, there has to be like 30 million farmer quotes out there that pull one out of my butt.
That's
that
what I
fast.
was wondering. How the hell is he ever gonna do this?
Okay, so you do your thing, and then I'll also.
So this is almost gonna be like two separate shows.
Absolutely, if you want to call it that.
All right.
Hey, wait, before you get to the next one, I thought you got rid of that squeaking chair.
Oh.
Oh my God. Rob left the building. He's back with his grandmother's chair now.
No, this is a chair from the Harvard Library.
Really?
Yeah.
You know how you have phones nowadays, you set the phone down on something and it charges it?
Yeah.
Does
Does that really work?
Yeah, it works great. Did you think
Really?
by you sitting your on a Harvard chair that it was going to do the same thing for you? You actually have to go there and learn something.
Not even close. Actually, the chairs are pretty comfortable. That's why we got it.
Okay, I was glad it doesn't squeak. I apologize, listeners, for his issues.
That was a pretty quick change, though.
That was good, yeah. All right, what do you got next there, Sunshine?
Sharpen your skills. Rookies and journeymen, okay? That's another thing that I hear at a lot of trainings. For rookies, when they come to the first training, they're wild-eyed. You know what I mean? They have no idea really what's in store for them. So, we always try to get everybody comfortable, a little camaraderie, have a little fun, lower it a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're always trying to make sure that the journeymen also are going to get some stuff out of the program too.
Okay.
And, we hear that a lot from guys who've been doing floors 20, 30, 40 years. As they're walking out, they're saying, I've had so many guys say, I'm shocked how much I learned. I'm shocked how much, I was doing things a little bit different, or, doing things actually the opposite way or whatever. A lot of it has to do with machine setup and things like that too. But you try to make it comfortable so everybody gets something, whether you're a rookie or a journeyman.
I like that. Okay. Farmer's advice. Never kick a cow chip on a hot day. Okay. Avoid stirring up trouble when tensions are high. Sometimes it's about wisdom, about the important lesson about timing and conflict management. This is good advice. I like this. If a guy's really ticked off about something, don't write him. Let it die down a little bit before you go there. Don't kick a cow chip on a hot day.
So that's what we should call this show, actually. Cow chip on a hot day.
There you go.
That's how this is turning out.
Yes. All right. All right, but I like that one. The everybody learns something from going to school and what have you. So good, Rob. Give me another one.
Especially when you hear a journeyman say, "Wow, this was," that's when you know, hey, I think we're doing things right.
Yep, and I've heard it many, many times for sure myself. So
Hmm. The other thing about hands-on training is theory with practice, and I can almost guarantee you, like me, never received one day of theory or practice when we started sanding floors.
let's get in that closet and scrape those corners. That was the
Here's an
theory.
edger. Here's an edger with 36 grit. Go over there and just swing it
Yeah,
back and forth, okay? And
that,
don't talk.
that was the theory and the what was it practice?
Theory and
Yeah,
practice.
yep, no doubt.
To me, theory and practice is words and music. You put them together and you get a song.
Yeah,
Theory and
the
practice.
you always want to know the why. It's so important to know
Yes,
the why in life. Uh,
exactly.
it's one thing to do something if you win or lose. That's one thing. We're going to always going to win or lose in battles and endeavors, but it's just so important to know the why. And if you can't blame anybody in the world but yourself, what would you have done differently? And I think that's pretty powerful. If you can't blame anybody, and you can't say, oh, it was this, that, and the other. I didn't know, blah, 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 whatever. And no one told me. If you can only blame yourself, what would you have done differently? And when you look at that mindset, especially as a young craftsman, then I think that it has all to do with accountability. So yeah, I like that. Don't skinny dip with snapping turtles. Choose your risk wisely. Some situations are simply not worth the potential of trouble, right? So I think that my if I'll tell you what, have you ever been around snapping turtles? Like I'm talking about big snapping turtles.
No,
You can't believe how ferocious them things can be, man. People make fun of turtles, not if you've ever seen one,
they attack
and
you when you're swimming.
they can, and they can. You put a snapping turtle in a pond, then you can't believe how many fish they're going to eat out of that pond and ducks and everything else, and their bite is ferocious. And I have a friend whose father was missing a thumb. And one day I asked him what happened to your thumb. Probably as a kid, probably should have left that alone. But it was a snapping turtle. Took his thumb right off. They are no joke, man. I mean, them things can weigh 40, 50 pounds, I think. I've seen them that
Well,
were huge.
we saw a snapping turtle. We were fishing at the Hudson. We were striper fishing,
Hmm.
and we saw snapple,
Snapple turtle?
a snapple turtle. We saw a snapping turtle, and he was huge. He almost looked prehistoric.
Yeah, they do. I
And
mean,
I had a wiffle ball bat, so I
uh-oh.
went over and I was trying to make him snap. I wasn't
Hmm.
hitting him or anything,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was annoying him. You
Would you
know,
spray paint them too while you were there?
no. But this snapping turtle hit that wiffle ball bat and completely pinched it shut.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about that. You
You
couldn't squeeze a wiffle ball bat shut.
you couldn't either.
Now I'm gonna go about back and get a wiffle ball bat, and I gotta see if I can do it.
I would love to know the what they call the PSI or the torque on a bite of a snapping turtle compared to different animals out there. They like coyotes or Rottweilers or different animals. I'll put them up there with anything, man. Them things are ferocious.
He bit through. He crunched that wiffle ball bat like it was a toothpick, man. It was
Wow,
nuts.
wow.
All right, so we don't go swimming with snapping turtles.
Yeah, which in other words means weigh the risk, and the potential risks when you choose wisely.
Exactly. And that's why that guy lost his finger.
Yeah, thumb. Nice try.
Thumb. All
Yeah.
right, next on the list, networking. I am amazed of what craftsmen will share with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know you and I probably said this 1,000 times on the show, the difference of the old days and what's going on today. But it still amazes me how much knowledge that people get coming to a hands-on training, not only from instructors and everything, but other guys on the team, other guys who were in the class.
Yeah.
And, I just love when these older guys will just kind of sit back and pontificate a little bit and really, you see the younger guys really get wide-eyed, or sometimes even better, um, a journeyman or older craftsman or whatever will start to back up everything that you're saying during a training. Not you,
Mhm.
but whoever the instructor is. And when they start backing up the instructor, now you're like, wow, this is great, because now it's like everything going on now. The students are like, oh, this is amazing. And we just had it happen at the Christmas school. I remember I talked about that Christmas school, and Howard Brickman was there, and I was going over a little bit, and for me to talk about uh, moisture content and stuff like that, it was just kind of, I kept looking over at Howard Brickman. I was like, all right. I go, Howard, you want to do me a favor and take over? I go, you're so much better at this.
Mhm.
Excuse me. So, the students of all the journeymen in the world to be at a class, here's Howard Brickman, and then Howard Brickman did, an hour and a half on moisture content and acclimation and everything. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you, everybody was just hanging on every word. So,
Yeah. He's the best.
that's one of the other great parts of hands-on training.
It is one of the coolest things about the trade right now. It didn't always used to be this way. Is how much guys will help each other and share with each other information. And I had guys, that were pretty close to in different areas and say, look, I'll come down there and show you how to do it. We roll all the time. Just call me, man. If I have time, I'll run down there. And share all the informations, all the little things they know about different things. And that's shows how much of a brotherhood this industry is right now. Like I said, it didn't always used to be this way. And I know when I was a carpenter, uh, it was the same thing as in the apprentice schools, going to learn to be a journeyman carpenter and going to all them schools. The attitude was, the more I show you, the less I know, and you're going to try and take my job one day. That was absolutely the attitude. If I show you how to do this, then you're going to be more valuable than me one day, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't want to show you anything. Now, shame on them, because like, look at the carpenters union. You better bring in new blood, or if you want to get that, your pension check every month. You know what I mean? You need that to go on. In our industry, we need young people in this trade. We need to encourage them to come in this trade. And you and I have talked many times. The opportunity right now to make money in this trade right now is huge for young people. And you're talking about education right now, and it's kind of funny to me, because you look what a kid gets saddled with out of college in debt, and to getting this, I'm going to do quotes, education, when you could get a real education, learning on the spot right away, learning a trade that can give you a good income the rest of your life. And I just seen something the other day where a lot of companies now are dropping the demand for a 4-year degree now as a part of the job requirements. A lot of them are. And I think that education, I'm not against education by any means, but a lot of jobs now that require a 4-year education, 20 years ago, those same jobs required a high school education, 30 years ago. And is why do you need a 4-year degree for a lot of these things? They're going to train you anyhow when they get you in there. And so the amount of money it's cost people for going to school is crazy these day and age. So anyhow, not to get on a tangent there, but yeah, okay, I'll get you another farmer quote. Okay. A pig bought on credit is forever grunting. Okay. I like that. You know what I mean? Can you get where that's coming from? What that is suggesting, a pig bought on credit is forever grunting, is that, yeah, it's what do you call it? Instant gratification. You got it on credit right now. It's great. You can drive off with it or whatever, but it's the payments that are there all the time, and you have to deal with them all the time, versus, wait till you can afford something and paying cash for it or what have you. I think I mean, a farmer said that years ago. Isn't that brilliant? I mean, it says what it just cuts down such a great idea in just a few words. A pig bought on credit is forever grunting. It never goes away. I think that's pretty interesting.
This could be a whole new door for you, huh?
A whole new what?
A whole new door for you.
Well,
Huh? About these farmer quotes. You're really liking these.
I am, but I think it'd be funny to go into a meeting, one of our meetings, and then just respond with nothing but farmer quotes. I think I think that might maybe what the hell is this guy problem here?
Well, we got a sales meeting coming up, right? And you're going to have to do a presentation.
Mm-hmm. Just do nothing but
I'll
farmer
tell you
quotes?
what. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make you a deal. Okay.
Okay.
If you can drop 10 farmer quotes in your presentation, I'll give you $100.
Let me see. Your $100 versus my annual salary. If I could slide 2 by, that's a lot. I'm not going to the bank for 10. What are you out of your mind? All right.
5?
No, hell no. Oh yeah.
All right, wait. All right. I'll make it easy for you. I'll give you $10 for every one you do.
I'm not gonna. It's not worth the $20.
I was thinking 30.
I'll roll with 1, but that's it.
I ain't gonna pay for one.
All right, get out of here. Then.
I'll buy you a coffee for one, but I don't think you drink
All
coffee,
right.
do you?
I don't know.
All right, so let's get back to hands-on training. Hands-on training allows us to make mistakes, but know how to correct them.
Okay.
I think that's huge, and that comes back to theory too.
Mhm.
Because once you teach the theory and then make mistakes, it's almost like the student can tell you why they just made that mistake. Because we do have a little theory in their head too. So that's where theory comes back to also helping correct mistakes. But I think the other thing about hands-on training is when you make a mistake, there's a coach or a journeyman or somebody there to help you through that mistake. And that can only really happen with hands-on training.
My quote is going to be similar to this, but nobody successful has not had setbacks. In fact, you can't be successful without them. You look at a kid wrestling and coming up and learning and all the way. You're going to get your butt kicked for a long time before you finally get on top. And 100%. You should never get too upset about making mistakes and what have you, because that's all part of growing. And you look at the best craftsmen in the world right now; they've all made many, many mistakes. Which is, I'll go with my quote: "It doesn't matter how much milk you spill, as long as you don't lose the cow." Okay, and translated into life advice, it reminds us not to get overly distraught over minor setbacks or losses, as long as we maintain the things of greater value and significance. Like, you're going to have setbacks. Just don't let it, mess up your whole day and whatever, or derail you from your plans. Setbacks are a part of it. You got to plan for them. They're going to happen.
So that was a spilt milk thing?
Yep.
Okay. So the other night, Friday night, both my grandsons have hockey. So after hockey, we all went out for pizza. And my youngest grandson, Loden, he spills this huge glass of water all over everything, right?
Yep.
He jumps off the seat and starts running out of the restaurant. Now, I know his mom and dad pretty good. They're not hitters, right? There was no beatings involved or anything. Actually, nobody was really that upset. He's 4 years old, right?
Yeah.
Nobody should have put a 24-ounce glass of water in front of this kid. But when he started to take off, when he came back to the table, he's sitting next to me. I go, "Where were you going?"
Yeah.
It's pitch black. How far were you going to go?
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I don't know. I don't know," he says.
Didn't have a plan B. If I'm in a restaurant and
Get
I
out of there.
see a 4-year-old kid knock over water and then get up and run out of the restaurant, I'm calling Child Protective Services on the parents.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I was shocked. I said, "Where the heck are you going?" He
Wow,
was just on the good foot.
that's too funny.
All right. So another hands-on training quote, the not farmer quote. Hands-on training allows us to try new techniques and procedures in a controlled environment without the risks involved of a live job site.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, that's one thing that I absolutely stress at the Bona schools is don't worry about what these panels look like, you know? Go
Well,
way beyond what you wanted to do here. Try everything, do everything. Don't worry about because you can't do that on a job site. When I was saying about theory and practice, how you and I when we started and probably most of the people who were in the business when they started did not start out by going to a training class. You started out on a live job site.
yep.
So everything you screwed up
Mattered.
was the hammers come right everything you screwed up you turn into my grandson. You're running for the door. I'm out of here.
Yep. I was at an RTC in Nashville a few years back, and a guy came in a floor contract. We were talking and everything, and he goes, "Man, I got a theory about sanding. I always wanted to try out." And I go, "There's the panel right there. Try it out on the panel." He goes, "You think I can?" I go, "I screw it up. We don't care. We just got done with the class, and the panel looked good." He goes, "I don't want to." I go, "Dude, that's why it's there, man." And it was theory. It was about taking the sandpaper up higher and higher to 1,000 grit or whatever. And so I think go knock yourself out, man. It's right there. Go if you got a theory, try it out. You can't hurt nothing. That's what the panels are for. And if you're afraid that you're going to make mistakes, if you make a mistake, someone else is going to learn from it. So it's not a big deal. That's what they're there for.
Have you ever done that?
Then what?
Take it up?
Yep. Yep.
There's a reason that the back of all the labels say sand to a 120 or 150.
Yes. In this world that we live in, flooring world wants to live in a certain range, 80 grit to 120 grit, somewhere in that range it wants to live. You get outside that range, you're inviting trouble. I thought to myself, okay, when I went to the distributor when I was young and I was doing floors, I see guys buy 120 grit screens, 100 to 120 grit screens. And the instructions would always say screen with 100 or 120. And I thought, all right, if guys are doing that, I'm going to go to 180, and I'm going to do the better. It's not always the right thing to do. And sometimes finishing off with 80 grit was the right thing to do back then, especially with the white stained floors. And back then we didn't screen them. It just depends on what you're trying to achieve, but you get outside that world of that sandpaper grits and you kind of invite trouble. Now, there's other techniques guys are playing around with and doing some things with the high sandpaper grits and what have you. I don't think it's necessary, and definitely for sure it can get you in more trouble.
Well, in our other life, I was an instructor at an NWFA expert school. And me and another guy, the other guy I was instructing with, we said, let's skip grits all the way up to a maroon pad, the 320. This will be the slickest floor in the history of slick floors. So we did it, and it did feel absolutely amazing. And then we tried to put finish on it. It was like oil and water. I mean, it was literally like oil and water. I couldn't wipe this stuff up because now we had the whole class standing around like, "Oh, what's the matter with your finish?" And I'm like, "Oh, jeez, this was a huge mistake." And I twisted it into, well, now you see why we recommend 120 and not 320.
Yeah. There was a time for a while that I was experimenting with grain filling. Now, not trowel filling adhesive, or not adhesive on my mind, wood filler. Not trowel filling wood filler, but grain filling. And at that time, there was a company had it was like a thinned down version of wood filler that you would that trowel on there and fill the grain, and then you would braid it back off. And when actually this experiment was with my mother-in-law, God bless her. My mother-in-law's kitchen. She had a kitchen and a little hallway, and then went into another hallway. And everything I did for her, I did free anyhow. So I thought, all right, I'm going to stand on her floor, but I'm going to try this grain filling on her floor. Now, in retrospect, I didn't have it would have been nice to have what do you call it? Tampico brush. I didn't have that, but we vacuumed it thoroughly and everything, and we grain filled it. And then after that dried, the process was to take a buffer and buff it off. Okay. And it looked filled as could be. I mean, all the pores were nice and filled. And that, well, I thought, wow, this is going to look fantastic. It didn't look fantastic at all. And it looked like you got all the filler off the floor, but any area you didn't, almost I couldn't even detect it. It had cast like a dark shadow on it. You know what I mean? That was no. I mean, me and my brother were there. We both looked at it, go, yeah, it looks great. We got it all off. You couldn't almost even see that we didn't actually have it all off. It just kind of lifted like in areas like shadows of darkness. And it looked nice and filled, but it wasn't worth the effort that we put into it. So
what was a grain filler supposed to do? Like
get
make
really
it look
deep.
like there's no soft grain dish out, or
Yeah, like all the soft green pores were completely filled, like really filled. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So it'd make that floor look like like a sheet of glass.
mm.
But in the end of the day, we experimented with it 3 or 4 times and thought, no, it's just not worth it. All right, you reap what you sow. And these are what I like about these sayings is how simple they are. You know what I mean? It's just, don't go fishing, don't go swimming with snapping turtles. Don't. Sometimes it's better to go around a stump. You reap what you sow is so true. So it doesn't. We need a lot of explanation. So that's gonna be my last one. I had make
Okay.
hay while the sun shines, and boy, is that ever true, man. I in the flooring business, I never. I was bad about turning jobs down. Um, I we didn't, I mean, as long as the job met our criteria, I didn't turn very many of them down because I thought, who knows where the next jobs are going to come from. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
I kept us busy. But when I think of that now as relates to the flooring trade, I think of the sports floor contractors. They have a certain period of time to make most of their money, and they got a hump. So I've come away with a whole new respect for that segment of our industry, man. After knowing, talking to you and what you're being around you and other sports floor guys. All right.
All right. Space. Having the right amount of space when you're doing hands-on training. I think when I'm talking about space, to me, there's a big difference of coming to a training center and getting out on a panel and really applying finish and really, running machines and everything, rather than just hitting a 4x8 panel and doing a demo. There's hands-on demos, but then hands-on training to me is a completely different thing. It's hard to train somebody on a panel. You can let them make a couple of runs and, get them in the ballpark. But I always think demos are more of a teaser to, yeah, we're going to do a demo with this, distributor or whatnot, but, this should lead you into the training. You should be wanting more than what we can give you on a demo.
I was with the sales guy one time, and we were talking, and I just met him. We just started working together, whatever years. I mean, probably 15 years ago, whatever. And he told me he was a floor guy too, and one time in his life and whatever. And we had a distributor, and there was a 4-foot panel there, and he was going to sand it off. And in 3 steps, I knew that guy never sanded floors for a living. It took him 3 steps with that machine for me to figure that out. But you're right. There's nothing like getting out there. And when you said space, I thought you meant like giving a guy space. when you're doing training, because that's something else too, man. Have you ever had a guy hover over top of you when you're trying to do something and learn something and figure something out? It is the worst. Give me some space, man. Give me some space. Let me figure this out. And, I hear what you say, but I thought that's what you were saying.
It's funny you said that. Give him some space, because I've had people, when I'm training, when I'm in training, I've had, you'll think of how many things you need to know when you're going to run a big machine or an edger or something. I mean, there's, 20 things that we could talk about, right?
21, just right off the top of my head.
There you go. Of course. So you can tell a guy all 21 things, and how are you going to retain that? Or you can tell him one or two things and go, start out here, one or two things. And I've had people say to me, hey, he's doing this wrong. I'm like, just let him get a feel for the machine. You're not instantly going to get a feel for a machine just because somebody told you how to do it. Yeah, let him make some mistakes, let him get a little muscle memory, that kind of thing. Because the other thing about training is it needs to be fun. I think training needs to be fun, because when we can make training fun, it's definitely a more comfortable learning environment. Mm-hmm. And when it's fun, everybody starts to get involved. You get more interaction, you get more camaraderie. And it's just a much better learning experience. And the other thing about that, it eliminates the fear of being awkward. If everybody's really serious, mm-hmm. and we're treating this like brain surgery, nobody's going to want to get up there and do it.
Yeah.
So when it's fun, everybody's going to feel less awkward, and they're going to get up there and want to do more.
It's funny when you teach someone how to use an edger for the first time or the big machine for the first time, because if you've not done it before and you put it in someone's hands, you tell them, okay, you gotta walk. As soon as you put the handle down, you got to feather, you got to do this. But then when you put it in their hands, it's an overload of stuff going on in your head and your body at a single time. Seems like turn on, teaching someone to use an edger. You turn it on, it's going. It's it's going to go. You better, and you're thinking all the things I was taught to do in just that short time. This thing's it's running. So yeah, it's always exciting. Well, Rob, I appreciate it, man. It was good. I know we got a lot of training coming up this year. I think the classes are fantastic. We'd love to get guys and more guys coming to them. We have some different kind of training classes this year than we've ever had. And we're doing herringbone classes as well. So I think this was kind of good to get kick off your, what'd you call this? Your training?
No. I just thought of a third one we can do. I'm glad you're saying that. Now this will be a 3-part series on the value of education.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right.
So the next one we'll do e-learning. And then I think the next one we'll do about installs. We'll get Dittmer on.
Oh, good. Yeah. E-learning is going to be pretty cool. Guys don't know what that is. We can get them caught up on that as well. So,
and all three go together. That's the other great part about this.
All right, Rob. This is gonna be a 2-part episode. So we're gonna wrap this up one right now, and we'll continue this in the next episode. How about that?
That sounds great. I'm looking forward to more farmer quotes, cowboy quotes, whatever, priest quotes, whatever you got. Bring the quotes on.
I'll do cowboy quotes next time. I know you love cowboys.
You know it.
All right. This has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.